Yeah. I would not talk about Blavador because I gave this talk before on the EasyBuild user meeting, but I realized that some people don't know what it is. All right. Oh. Sorry. Okay. Some people, who doesn't know what Blavador is here? Right. Okay, so it's more people than I expected. So you can scan this one or open the website. It's basically our implementation of something like a ChatGPT. Yeah. So it looks like this is the worst web interface ever, but people use it programmatically. Yeah. So for example, I just asked here to come up with some title for a talk for today, and it created this one. By the way, I use it for creating the proposal for my talks, and I got 30 talks already with this thing. So, yeah, this is the website. But I will not talk about Blavador itself today. I will talk about the large language models that are running on it, or are not running on it. Yeah, so what happened is that what I wanted to talk about is about open source, because right now, a bunch of companies are talking about billions in valuations for running those things, and turns out that this will get eaten by open source. Yeah, like 20 years ago, web servers were some multimillionaire business, and now you just download one. Yeah. The big one that everybody got to know was OpenAI. Yeah, it was the only thing that people know, basically. Turns out that last year, we broke their moat in open source. So if you take the ChatGPT 4 from the model from 2 years ago, it's already like number 63 of the best model out there. Yeah. And everything is getting cheaper. People are learning how to build those things. So it's getting easier and cheaper to train those things and to run them. Yeah. And this, one of the very important aspects here was China. The Americans developed this thing. The Chinese made it cheap. Yeah. And what China is doing is open source. They are doing a lot of open source and a lot of good research. Yeah. So 5 years ago, there were like 11 models created in the whole of America, and China had 2. In 1 year later, they already caught up. Yeah. And actually, I don't have more newer than that because there's so much stuff. I cannot just go on every website and count them. Yeah. And they are doing research too. I mean, good research in China. Yeah. Like, this is just an example. They have their own rankings of things there. And if you look here, like ChatGPT is still like at the top of the stuff, but you start seeing Chinese models in the middle. Yeah. And then let's talk about some of the research that is going on there, like quite quickly. So for example, Huawei. Huawei is the company that has been facing sanctions everywhere because everybody's afraid of them. They're selling AI chips. There is this one called the Ascend 910C. They say that it's supposed to be like a NVIDIA H100. It's not. I tried. It's like an A100, but still it's good enough. It's way cheaper. And they are actually doing also with their own foundries. This is huge. Before they were made in Taiwan with the foundries from this ASML company here in the Netherlands, and now they have their own foundry. This will change the world in ways I cannot understand yet. Yeah. So and they have on their own cloud models for years. Yeah, they keep improving those things. You cannot download their models, but you can fine-tune your own models on top of them and download that thing. So it's kind of weird, yeah? And they have servers everywhere. They have servers in US, they have servers in Latin America, in India, in whatever. Yeah. And the ones here, they actually even comply with the AI Act and with the privacy laws and everything. China Telecom is another one. Why China Telecom has a model of 1 trillion parameter, I don't know, but they have it. And they use it for tech support. At least you don't stay like 3 hours waiting for, with that shitty music, yeah? So Well, meanwhile, here in Germany, what we have, like my internet at home is 16 megabytes, like I had 20 years ago in Brazil using copper, yeah, like, I don't know, like the ancient Aztecs or something. And yeah, so we are pretty much behind here in some things. This is the dog that created Blavador. It was his idea, not mine. Another company from China that is doing a lot of stuff is Baichuan. Actually, it was the first model that I ran 3 years ago on Blavador. I just realized that recently. I was checking my Git history, and the first one that I put there was Baichuan. They have also trillion parameter model for a while already. They have something called Baichuan 2 that you can download. It's free, and but it's crap. And they have one that they recently came out with, but it's only for China. You cannot download. Baidu is another Chinese company that is big. It's like their Google, because Google is closed there. They were the Chinese AI leader. Now, I don't know, they fell behind because they're not open source. Means they are not competing directly with the others. They are just sucking the others, but yeah, whatever. But they do a lot of research. This thing came out last week, I think. By the way, this presentation I finished last night at 2 a.m., so it's already outdated. Yeah, this is absurd. So they are saying that their model will be open in June 30. I don't know why this date or whatever, but it's what they say. They have a lot of models with like no code development, health models, text to image, image to text, both things, whatever, yeah? And it's actually the cheapest one that you can run if you hire their cloud. It's right now it's the cheapest thing. And this company, they talk about clusters in plural of hundreds of thousands of GPUs. Yeah, just for you to have an idea of the scale of things in China. Yeah, we will have the machine here is going to be not even 25,000 GPUs, and it's going to be the monster of Europe. So there's another company called Yi, means one in Chinese. They also have like a model that they did creating the data for itself, and turns out that they say that is good. Last month, it was the highest model on the LM arena, the large language model arena. When I downloaded and put it on Blavador, people hated it, so I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. Yeah, so now they have, this is outdated. Yeah, see this in January, it was number 12. Now it's like number 60 or so. They have multi-model models like that understand vision, videos, things like this, coder models. But they kind of disappeared. I don't know what they're probably doing something big and not just went silent recently. Yeah, I haven't seen anything from them since November. Blavador again. I like it. There's this other company called StepFun, which we don't hear about here, and they are also like very high on the ranking, so higher than all the American models. Yeah, it's another model that understands not just text but a bunch of other stuff, creates images, but they are closed, so I cannot say much about that, and I don't really speak Chinese. Alibaba is their Amazon. Yeah. And they did the same business model as Amazon. They have like 3 days a year that their cloud is completely full with requests of people buying crap because of holidays or something, and the rest of the time they rent their computers. So like Amazon does with the web services. Yeah. Alibaba is doing a lot of nice models. They are always on the top. So one of the things that model have problem with is long strings of text. And their model has like 1 million tokens as context, which is huge. You need a lot of memory for that on your GPUs, but this allows you to do things that you just cannot in smaller models. For reference, the only other place where you can run something with 1 million tokens in context is Google. No one else does that. They released a model like 3 days ago, which is you can use on your phone, and it actually, like, you can interact with a model directly by just showing things. It can control your phone, whatever. It's crazy. It's absurd. We have a coder model from them running here, so you can actually connect to your code editor. their models is better than the biggest one that you have open right now, which is Llama. You can, yeah, they have also, and their inference is for free. You can use their stuff for free, that's it. The best models, yeah, not just like a reduced version like OpenAI does. Yeah, so this one, they had another model released, which is a big one. They have a reasoning model, which is supposed to be the highest open reasoning model. Reasoning is this kind of model that keeps talking to itself and then gives you an answer later. Yeah. So QWQ is one that we have right now on Bellador, so you can just use for yourself. Yeah, and then they released these, I think it was yesterday or the day before, something called LLM that you take a picture and say dance, and the thing starts dancing. Yeah, it's and 3D. So, for example, it creates the back of a person or whatever, something like this. And the CEO yesterday was talking about that there are too many people building data centers for AI, because he sells services. Yeah, he sells the cloud. So of course he is against people doing stuff on premises, on their own premises. But yeah, so yeah, this happened. He gave a talk yesterday about this. This is another company that makes research on that, internal LM. I don't know if it's a company or a group. They have a small model, but they use much less training time. So this is, and they publish papers on that. So people learn from that and can use it for the next generation of models, yeah. So this one was in January. I need to check again because last year I tried and it was crap. Tencent is, what do they do? It's a game, no? Game, yeah, so they have this Hunyuan was released, which day is it today? 25? Yeah, so the day before yesterday, they created a model which is something called Mamba. Mamba is a kind of transformer that doesn't have the attention mechanism. So what it means is that longer inputs take linear time to be processed instead of quadratic time of all the other transformer-based models. They have a home robot already like this that actually can do things at your house, not just run around and stumble on your cables. If this robot actually can fold my clothes and put on the wardrobe, I will buy it. Jipu is another company that is doing a lot of stuff like real-time conversations in video and things like this. They have one model for reading papers and stuff. They have their own Visual Studio Code extension. They have normal large language models, like 130 billion parameters, which is perfect because it fits on 4 800 GPUs. People release bigger models, and turns out that you cannot run that thing because you just don't have hardware for that, or you put in multiple nodes, which make it completely slow. Yeah, so they have a lot of models there. Image generator, video generator, whatever, yeah. And the Chinese phones, they actually are able to be controlled by those large language models. This is very nice. You can say stuff and it actually opens a browser and all those things and do things for you. ByteDance is the TikTok company, right? Yeah. Also, they have this Doubao, which is pretty cheap. It's not the cheapest one because I spoke about the cheapest one recently, but it's also much cheaper than American stuff. They have diffusion models like we have here in Europe, the stable diffusion stuff, which they use for TikTok. Yeah. Here, Samba again, the Blavador. So there are many companies. Yeah, I will not talk about all of them because it's boring and it gets repetitive. What they have, which is interesting, I started seeing on papers on this subject, is something called Model Scope. Is their Hugging Face. It's and they're not publishing on the Western places anymore. They're putting on their own stuff, and now I have to go there to check what's going on. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So all the models that I spoke about are on this thing. Half of the stuff is only in Chinese, which is again, yeah. But so you're not here to care about OpenScope. When I talk about Chinese models, people only think about Blavador, of course, and about DeepSeek. Yeah, DeepSeek came and changed what the perception of the West into AI, into Chinese AI. Yeah. So DeepSeek R1 was released in January this year. Everybody went crazy about it because it's so cheap, and the quality is okay. It's not on par with the best AI model of OpenAI, but again, it costs 97% less. So you can do with a bit worse quality. Yeah. It has this. The model that you can download is 675 billion parameters, meaning that there is no way you can run this thing on 8 GPUs of any size. So how do they deploy it, the full model there? I have no idea. What people do is quantize this model and to reduce the precision to have it in less memory. Yeah. And the big thing here was that it was very cheap to train. Extremely cheap to train compared to the Western models. And it's an MIT license, yeah, so you can download the whole thing and just use it, and commercial use, they don't care. And the crazy thing is that the Chinese market is using this on everything. You buy teddy bears with DeepSeek inside now, like a very reduced version of it, yeah? And the app and the website are free to use. When something looks too good to be true, maybe it is too good to be true, yeah. And in this case, actually it is. Someone here from Jülich tested it, and turns out that if you check it on standard benchmarks, it goes very well, as you saw on the plot there. But if you take like weirder benchmarks, it doesn't, yeah. So maybe it was trained on benchmark, which is a lot of people do that on smaller models. So for example, if you look, this is, it's a benchmark made in Jülich called Alice in Wonderland. And if you look at the best model of ChatGPT, it kind of stays high quality all the time. And if you look at DeepSeek, it pretty much collapses, yeah, with that benchmark. It's a weird benchmark. It asks questions about Alice in Wonderland. I mean, not knowledge of the book, because the book is on the training data, but weird questions about the relationship of characters and things like that. And if you look here, this is another part of the thing. You see that most models collapse on that thing. The only one that stays is the best model from OpenAI. But on the other hand, if you look at it, it's still much better than commercial products, and also other open source alternatives. Yeah, so it's a good thing that this exists and is free. And this was something that I ran out into. So some guy was doing a merge request and say, I just threw it on DeepSeek, and it created the merge request for me, and it's correct. And yeah, so, and it turns out that this actually doubles the speed of WebAssembly. So this was pretty interesting. So in short, DeepSeek is a very good model. It's not as good as the best of closed source, but it's open source. Everybody's re-implementing the techniques, actually, because the companies competing with them are learning from them, yeah, because they published everything. And actually, what they did was that all their techniques, they put in a paper in May last year. So when people are surprised in January, it's because they're not reading the Chinese papers, yeah. And now Hugging Face is making a copy of it because they don't have the training data, so they took their own clean version of paper implementation, and they're doing their own thing. Yeah, and I don't know how this will change everything, but what I see is that open source is going to dominate the AI field, and those companies will all at some point either close down or offer that much cheaper than they do now, and all these crazy valuations of these companies make no sense. There was this guy saying that DeepSeek is actually a Chinese government psyop to make AI in the US unprofitable, but turns out that he is a shareholder of OpenAI. So yeah, I found interesting this. Yeah. What else? They don't stop. Yeah, this is crazy. What's going on there is absurd. I cannot keep up with those things. So In January, there was this Janus, which is for it understands images, but it also generates images. It's the first one that does both. Okay. Yeah, so what else? They did this in February, a good model for math, which is super cool, and everybody's now is talking about this technique of reasoning. Yeah, Monday came out another model from them, and they just put the weights on Hugging Face and ModelScope without even a README file yet. In Canada, there is this one company called EA. They were shit, to be honest. In US, you know what it is. So Google now is the best one again. They're catching up. Microsoft, I will not talk about them because no. Twitter, no. Apple, no. Meta, somehow they're making money out of it. I don't know how, but yeah. Anthropic is making money out of the American military. Amazon has their models, but they put the models of everyone else. NVIDIA re-implements stuff to run better on their hardware because, of course. OpenAI, I will not say anything about them. So there is this company that was created by the guy who founded Microsoft together with Bill Gates 50 years ago or so, which does a lot of nice things on distributed training. Yeah, so this was trained distribute in Jülich and in the US. So I would talk, because we are running out of time, I would just run one thing. So this is, Mistral is a new model here in France. Germany has three things running at the same time. Okay, this Hugging Face is not a French company, just to tell. This was interesting. I like this meme. Yeah, so, okay. This was something that happened in beginning of February here. The French government released their large language model. And 2 days later, this was a Thursday afternoon, on Saturday, they removed it. So it was absurd. The whole thing was creating ridiculous answers, and people were like, okay, let's close. And to make things worse, they took the face of Scarlett Johansson, which was not paid for that. Yeah, and so for example, one of the questions that people said, what is the square root of goat? And I said, oh, it's 1. I tried on Blavador, it doesn't answer that. Yeah, well, potato is my other dog, yeah, so there are a lot of the things going on, and yeah, that's it, I think. If you want the slides to have a short overview of large language models, you can just scan this one, and there you go. Thank you.
Any questions for Alexandre? Yeah.
Hi, thanks for the talk. I was wondering, regarding the LLM arena, how much do you know if they compensate? Like, I imagine a lot of the Chinese model will perform better in Chinese if you prompt them in Chinese than in English, or at least assuming it's.
So the arena is US questions. It shows you 2 models, and you say, I prefer this answer better than that one. Yeah. That's how the rankings are.
Okay.
So,
yeah, okay, so you can answer. There is no prompting or biasing due to the larger number of users. Okay,
no, and the thing about the arena is that because the commercial ones tend to perform much better, they kind of bury the open ones on the. Actually, I can even show you here, yeah, the arena. But yeah, for the ones who never saw. And actually, the code base of the LM arena and Blavador is roughly the same. We work together, so. It looks just as shitty as Blavador because of that. Here, yeah. So if you look at the license of them, you have DeepSeek as the first one, as number 7 on the ranking, but everything else is pretty much proprietary, yeah, except of Gemma here again, and yeah. So, and how it works, yeah, you saw here, yeah, you make a question.
Okay, so but you are still prompting it.
Yeah,
they're not
and then it shows 2, and yeah. So you say I prefer left side or right side, and that's it.
So as I briefly mentioned yesterday, I'm at least interested in combining LLMs with EasyBuild and see what we can get out of this. But how do we start with picking a model? I mean, I guess it depends where you're going to run it.
Yeah.
Preferably through Blablador, of course. But say you also want to be able to run this on your laptop, then you're already quite limited, and you have to. I guess the open models that fit on the laptop or fit at least in say 32 gigs, 64 gigs RAM are not that.
So what people usually do is like this: they take a model that has, like, let's say, usually around 7-8 billion parameters, and they reduce the precision from 16-bit or 8-bit to 2.7-bit or something like that. Yeah. So then they fit in memory. This makes it run, but it really reduces the quality of the answers.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can take open models as well and specialize them. So they don't know who the king of Denmark is, but they know about easy configs.
Yes, you can.
And then that also helps in really reducing their size and memory footprint.
Yeah, you can do that. There is one, it's not running on Blablador now because I ran out of GPUs, but there was one guy that trained here in Jülich, one called Cosmos Age. So he took a normal French model, Mistral, and he fine-tuned it to cosmology. So the thing is very good at answering cosmology questions. Yeah, so for example. Yeah, and he puts all how he did it on his GitHub repo, so you can just copy, change the questions that he put there and do your own by yourself.
So the guideline for fine-tuning,
yes.
or it's not, is it fine-tuning or specializing? There's differences there as well.
Fine-tuning is specializing. You know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Questions?
Yeah, one more and then we switch to 4 talks in 1 hour because we're so good on staying on time.
I don't like any.
Okay. A very interesting talk, thank you. So I'm actually an administrator for the Google Summer of Code program,
right?
Which we try to give student opportunities to work on open source projects. In our case, it's kind of like science and CERN and stuff. And LLMs have made it like incredibly difficult to find good students. Like we used to give them kind of like evaluation exercises to try to find the best student. And with LLM is just very hard to kind of like find a way to actually find someone who's then actually going to be good. I mean, I don't mind that people use LLMs to support then their work, but so I was wondering, can LLMs actually help me with this problem? Is there some way where can kind of
Good question. They cannot tell if something. Good question. They cannot tell, a large language model cannot tell if a text has been generated by a large language model. The detectors are pretty bad. Yeah, so turns out that some companies tried that and they retreated all of them because all of them end up being pretty much random. With some training, you can actually identify it. I can tell when the text is ChatGPT specifically, because they have some punctuation signs and some expressions that people don't use in English, for example. Yeah. So, and at some point, someone sent me an email. I'm very excited to delve into this subject. I was like, what the hell? Did you write me a 5-line email in ChatGPT? And the person, sorry, it's because I don't speak English. And I was like, okay, fine, yeah, but use Google Translator, it works, and it doesn't create all this super motivated bullshit. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It's gonna be hard. Teachers are freaking out with this thing. Yeah, school teachers, because kids are doing the lazy way. Yeah, they're doing the path of least resistance. So yeah.
You can just test them against this, right? You can have your prospective summer student on one side and the model on the other, and then if they don't win, they're in trouble, right?
Yeah, that's a Google project, Summer of Code project on itself. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Alexander.
Thank you.
So now we'll do 4 short talks.